Alright, so today I'm going to be testing sinking into the hips more, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with this bar as a reference. So you always hear about nose over toes, and so what I've been doing, this is aligned with my hip right now, initially, and so with nose over toes and wanting to throw on hyzer a lot of the time, I kind of bend forward with my upper body. This gets the nose over toes. But what happens is I have so much of my upper body weight over my toes that actually my weight is a little too far over my toes. And if I lean a little bit more forward, I'm falling forward. So instead of that, to get a hyzer lean while staying more balanced, not being too far over your toes, what I think I should be doing is pretend like I'm closing a car door with my butt. So stick my butt out. Now you can already see my upper body has a hyzer lean to it, and my hips have moved back behind this pole, and I have a lot more balance over my feet right now. I can lean really far forward without feeling like I'm going to start falling forward. The one thing I have to worry about, though, is when you stick your butt out, there's a temptation for your lower back to go into extension. So I need to now engage my abs and get extension out of my lower back, to make sure you're getting power from your core. And this is stuff that I've been told in form reviews of myself, that I'm too far over my toes, my weight's too far over my toes. And I didn't quite understand how to actually address it, because before, what I was doing, just leaning the top of my body forward, I was like, well, if I stand up straighter, then how am I going to throw hyzer? And it was being pointed out in my hips, but I didn't make the connection to this move of sinking back into the hips. Or I've heard that it's been described as hip depth, like being deeper into the hips. I'm not sure what the official terms are. But anyways, I'm going to test trying to do more of that today and see what it does to my stats. Now, lately, I've actually been struggling to get to my normal, like, mid-60s. Normally, every session, even when I'm trying different things, I can hit mid-60 mile per hour. Lately, hitting 62 miles per hour is good, and hitting 63 is really good. So today, if I get anything above 62 or 63 consistently, then that would be really good. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm limited on space here because of it being wet. I had to put the camera in half zoom. So this is what I'm gonna try to do. My run-up line is gonna be like this. I'm trying to plant here, which is aligned with my target, and stay in the dry spot, because this is not the grippiest floor, and I also forgot to change my shoes. So before each throw, what I'm trying to do to make this change is I'm just stand here normally, then I pretend like I'm closing a door with my butt, to get the deep sink into the hips. Then I'm trying to make sure my lower back is not extended. And then I'm trying to stay with this posture as I go through the footwork.
Alright, here are the overall stats for this session. It took me a little bit to get going, but once I did hit 64, I hit 64 like 3 or 4 times in a row, and a couple of them were basically 65. So that was really good for me, considering just hitting 62 lately has been feeling hard, and 63 is really good, and 64 I haven't hit in quite a while, except one time there was a local pro with a tech disc, and so of course I hit 65 first try. But other than that, it hasn't happened in a while. So I'm gonna keep focusing on this. It seems like it's helping. I might have even been able to hit 64 much earlier in the session, but I've been used to not hitting 64 lately, and so instead have gotten in the habit of just kind of messing around with different things more often, kind of out of frustration. And so I gave into that temptation here earlier on, and I was messing around with my grip, trying more finger curl in the dip joint, more flexion instead of my usual extension, like I've done videos on in the past. But towards the middle of the session, I started sticking to my normal grip, and then I started getting some higher speeds. I was also trying a little bit more wrist curl in this session, so not the most pure test, but I was mostly just concerned with trying to get out of the slump and get back to my normal speeds. But I do think that this sinking into the hips was one of the more important things of this session that helped me. Because in the past, when I've tried more wrist curl, it gave me more spin, but not more speed personally. Maybe if I keep practicing it though, I'll get more speed with it as well. I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I'd received form advice from some form reviews, so I'll link the YouTube channels of the people that gave me the form advice on the screen and in the description.